Here we are at the bee yard, and Manfred is just opening up, it looks like, the nukes that he just started this year. He has brought extra boxes with frames because I guess the bees are filling everything up very quickly, and it's prime time for honey, so he's adding some extra boxes so that they have more room.
I have a feeling that maybe we don't. Signs of a queen here on this frame. There are fresh eggs. For some reason, I don't know why she stopped laying. Unless they superseded, they could have. Maybe when we had the cook and stuff out of the queen. There are fresh eggs in that frame. And we do have a queen. So I'm kind of surprised that we have so many bees. So much food, so I'm going to have to put an empty box in there for them. The queen to start laying eggs in another box. Because they have gone crazy with the honey and they're filling everything up. I think what I'll do in this case now is I will put a queen excluder on the second box up. After I put the new box on. Camera. So here we are back at the bee yard. It's June the 20th today. Beautiful summer day, or sorry, spring day, and weather is lovely. And we're just out to have a look today to see what's going on. As you can see, they're happy. Coming in. They're bringing in pollen, nectar, and got 4 strong colonies here. I'm pretty happy with the way it's been going this year. It's probably the best year I've had in 10 years. Got 7 strong colonies. I've added supers. The supers that you can see in the middle here. This one. On all of them to boost up the brood, and today what I plan on doing is making some splits, what we call splits, where we divide a colony, and I have bought some queens to introduce to the splits so that we can start 4 new bee colonies today, and all being well they'll survive and produce honey, and all will be good. So I'm just going to have a look at that. I see here I've had some problems with a skunk. The ground is all scratched up. You can see where the ground has all been scratched up and dug by something. Be a skunk, and what they do is they come along and they scratch on the front of the colony and they irritate the bees, and then as the bees come out to see what's going on, they'll eat them. And they don't seem to care whether they get stung or not. But that's what's been happening on these two colonies, so it's not a good thing because it wipes out the colonies. You can see there are some dead bees on the ground right there. One there, a few there, and they do quite a lot of damage. This is fresh, so what I can do is come back with some chicken mesh and lay it down on the soil in front of the colonies, and that detracts from. They don't like it when they stand on it, and hopefully it'll go away. Back in a bit. So here we have the new queens. They arrive in a box like this, and the queens are actually in a queen cage. This is the queen cage here, and there's one queen in there with a number of workers, attendants that look after her. And they eventually find their way through the end. You can see they start to chew their way through that candy that's in the end, and that's their method of when you introduce the queen cage to the new colony. The worker bees on the inside of the cage chew from one end, and the bees from the colony side of the other end chew their way in, and by the time that they reach the middle, everyone's gotten to know each other quite well, and they don't have a problem, and they should introduce fairly well. So we're going to set ourselves up with 4 colonies today and see how that goes. Back in a bit. Okay. Here we are again. I got the smoker all fired up here. Basically, I used the material that's on the ground. This stuff here, pine needles, works really well, and lights easily, creates nice smoke. It's good. Keep it in a bucket so that it's kind of contained, I guess. And I've got myself suited up here, as you can see, and duct tape is a wonderful thing. So here we go. I'm going to go over to the colonies now, find the hive tool. Here we are. This is a hive tool, and that's basically what we use to open the colony and work with the bees. I always find it's a good idea to clean up any of the old equipment that you might have around, and just sterilizing the top boards with a propane torch. This kills any bacteria or American foul brood disease that might be embedded in the wood, and it's just a good precaution, good practice to do this. So here we have ourselves set up with 4 new bases, 4 new bottom boards, cleaned up and scorched with the propane, just to make sure that any diseases that may be harboring in the wood are killed. And that's our new site for our 4 new colonies. Now we're just going to take the smoker and we're going to smoke each colony a little bit just to calm them down. This one here is just storage, and it's going to get a little awkward for me to do this and record at the same time. I really need a camera person, so I'm going to do the best I can and see how it goes. So we've given them all a puff, and see you soon. So I've started to tear down this one here. You can see it's open at the top. This box here is actually full. It's full of honey already, and it's only June. I'm very pleased with the way the hives have progressed this year. This one here, we're going to have a look. I introduced this empty box to the colony 2 weeks ago, and as you can see, they're already starting to fill it up, which is great. You can see they're all eating. They've all got their heads stuck in the cells. That's because the smoke has caused them to want to eat. The smoke actually is an alarm to them, which could respond in their minds to fire or forest fire. So their reaction is to gorge themselves with food, and their purpose would be to take that with them if they have to flee. And so in the process of them gorging themselves with food, they get very docile, and the beekeeper then has bees which are easier to handle. So it's kind of a good thing all around. So what I have done now is I've taken 3 frames from this colony here and removed another box from this colony here and created a new box over here with 3 frames of brood from the first box. And there's the 3 frames of brood from the first box. And, like I said, it's a little awkward to do this on my own, but you get the general idea. Now I'm going to take one of the queen cells from the orange box here. Just have to put the camera down for a minute. So I take the queen cell from the box, and they've already started to chew their way through it. And I'm going to put this queen cell right in the middle, in between the frames, like so. Now they will, there, so I've introduced a new queen to the new box. And just going to put that cover back on there, and hopefully they will be fine. So there we have it for nukes, or splits I guess you could call them, rather than nukes. Introduced 4 new queens, and hopefully they'll make it. These guys here are all back together. Bees are a little riled up, and I'm a little stung up, so that's the way she goes. So we're pretty happy, all doing very well, with the exception of this one here, which has become queenless. Either that or the queen has become sterile or infertile and is laying drones. So I've introduced I split this one hard and put most of them over there, and the other side over there with a new queen, and this one here I introduced a frame of eggs and some queen cells from another colony. Actually, the queen cells were in this colony already, but fresh eggs, and hopefully they'll raise a new queen and we'll be back in business with that one as well. So that's it for today, and hope you enjoyed my little video here. Just have to clean up now. And there's my bee partner, Zozo, the wonder dog. Hi Zozo, were you a good girl? Yeah, you're a good girl. You want to stay in there so you don't get stung up by bees, yeah? You stay there for a minute. Good girl, you stay there. So here we are back at the bees again. It's Canada Day today, and we're just here to give the fresh starts a quick look over. And as we can see here, they are coming in with pollen. And there we go. There's not very many, of course, because they're low in numbers yet, but that's a good sign. They're working, and we're gonna open them up and have a look in. These guys here are working hard. Coming in with pollen. As are these. That's a good sign. This one here is not so bad. The other hives are looking pretty good as well. Gotta get rid of some of these weeds. Even this one here, which was the one that was semi-queenless. We'll have to open that one and see what happened. And that one there is pollen going in. It's not a very clear day today. It's very cloudy and threatening rain. They likely won't be very happy. So that's why I suited up. I wasn't going to bother just for those 4 little nukes, but they're probably going to be angry today. So we just gave them a puff. Okay, little smoker out here. Gonna take off the cover. Have a little peek inside. Always good to give a little smoke. And you can see that there's a good number of bees. I'm always cautious when I open a colony, especially a new colony, because quite often the queen may be on the lid and you don't want to drop her down in the grass if she is. So one thing that I have a habit of doing is just knocking the bees back in, like so. Get them off the lid. Get them off the top cover. Now, as you remember, we put the queen cage in here the last time we were here, and hopefully she's released. Let's just give them a puff there. I think it's empty, so we'll just spread those 2 frames apart. Take out the queen cage, and as you can see, it's completely empty. The queen has gone, and she's now somewhere in here. Lift out a frame of, this is brood I put in the last time, and just having a quick scan here to see if I can see her. There are. The other thing, of course, you can do is look for eggs, and if there are any fresh eggs within a day or two, you know she's here somewhere. Now I did buy these queens under the impression that they were already fertile queens, so
She should already have been pretty much ready to lay. The queen also came from Quebec, so they're Quebec queens. I had the option of Quebec queens or California queens, and I chose Quebec queens because they would be more acclimatized to our area. So yeah, I think I see eggs in there. I'm just gonna step away into the sun. And there are fresh eggs in that frame. So yes, we have definitely got a laying queen. Just take a quick look at this frame as well. I'd like to see the queen because I haven't really seen them yet, being that she was in a cage. Well, a young queen is quite frequently hard to find because she's smaller and a little shy. They tend to scurry away and hide. They're not quite as bold as an older queen. They're a little more wary. So we have a colony that's well underway here. So we could now call this a nuke, a nucleus of bees. Put the cover back on and let them be, so to speak. So now I'm going to follow suit with the other 3 colonies just to make sure that we have a queen in there and everything's cool. So I've removed the lid from another colony here. As you can see, the queen cage is in the middle as we left it, and we'll just pry these frames apart a little bit, loosen it up, just give it a little puff. Not that we really needed to, but there's the queen cage, and hopefully we have queens in all of them. This one here was the last one that I did, and I separated, and it's pretty quiet, but we'll see. Here we have 4 strong nukes, and even producing honey on these. And over here we've got the 4 colonies that were left over from last winter, which I have stacked up with boxes. You can see pretty high. Got some boxes to come off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes to come off today. 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes to come off today. And as you can see, they're really working pretty hard. They're bringing in pollen and nectar today, mostly nectar, and they're working like crazy. It's a beautiful sunny day. You can see them flying there, coming in. Hopefully I won't get stung up. Don't have my suit on yet. And yeah, they're hanging off my head, so I think I had better. Ow! There's a sting.